I come from a family, we don't own homes or anything like that, so I just never thought that it would be possible for me, because I haven't really seen many people growing up like purchase homes. And so I'm like, okay, I'll just rent like everyone else. I'll follow that same pattern of, just finding a place to live and paying my rent and stuff like that. I never thought of, owning a home. I didn't think that it was something possible for me to do.
In the early 1900s, African-American population started migrating to the north in cities like Chicago. Chicago relegated the African-American population to a certain section called the Black Belt of the south side of Chicago, where they couldn't own homes and properties. Then you have African-American men and women who went to fight for our country in World War II, who were promised a GI Bill to buy homes. And this is where our suburbs started to grow, started to explode, where our middle class white America started to expand. But black people who fought in the war were withheld from these GI Bills. And then in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and even 70s, you have redlining, where banks literally drew lines around certain communities where black populations were present and refused to give loans in those communities. We could say, well, that's a thing of the past, but even in recent years, the percentage of bank loans that go into black and brown communities is extremely low. For generations, there's been disinvestment into the black and brown community, and so J29 wants to come alongside as the church, as Christians, to say that's not right, and we need to do something about this.
I would love to break like generational curses in my family and create wealth for them, and I think the best way to do that is starting with a home ownership and showing them that because I did it, like you can also do it. Because a lot of us, we just, we don't have the resources, or we just don't know where to start. Finances wasn't something that we talked about growing up. Home ownership wasn't like things that we sat down and talked about at the dinner table. So I think creating financial stability and creating financial wealth for myself, so that way I can teach others in my family to do the same.
So the process of buying a home through J29 Homes begins with a financial literacy course. We understand that people like myself, who grew up without parents who taught me how to budget and taught me how to save and taught me how to invest, we get people who know finances to teach financial literacy courses. We
learned how to create a financial game plan. We talked about ways we can create cash flow. We also talked about just like wealth and what wealth actually means. And I think just having tools that I can also have under my belt, like learning how to create a budget, learning about retirement, learning about savings.
Then we have an application process and a committee that is made up of people who've participated in the program in the past select the next family or the next individual to get a home. When the home is finished, then the house is sold to the family at a very reduced price. The hope, though, is then that individual, that family moves into that home and they seek the peace, they seek the shalom of that community.
It's been a huge life adjustment, adapting to 3 kids, like literally overnight. So going from no kids to 3 kids is something that I'm taking, one day at a time. I'm realizing that because I do have 3 kids and I'm technically a single mom, I can't do it alone. Learning how to ask for help is something that parenting requires you to do.
I've had the privilege of knowing Roberta for a few years, but what really strikes me with her is her heart for kids, her love for people. 3 of her cousins needed a home, needed a family, needed a place to belong. And even as a single individual, as somebody who started going back to college and someone who has a full-time job, she took that opportunity to bless these kids and to love them. We want to celebrate her. We want to come alongside of her and support her in raising these kids up.
It felt really good to be seen and to be chosen for something like that because it's so huge. Getting help for home ownership I think it's probably nothing but the Lord, because I couldn't do it on my own beforehand. And so I'm like, this is the help that I needed.